Anthony, 11 months ago, it felt like you didn't quite empty the tank. Tonight, you went out on your shield, you went out throwing. Do you feel like you've exercised some demons from 11 months ago?
Is that how long it's been? 11 months?
Yeah.
It's a long time. Exercise some demons. I don't know how to answer that question, to be honest with you. Have I exercised some demons tonight?
You left it in the ring tonight?
No, it's just I tried a different style. Well, previously in my career, through the sport of boxing, like what got me through in my early days when I was beating people that I shouldn't have been beating. For example, I was an amateur for 3 years. Only 3 years when I walked into the gym with my cousin Benga over there, who's now head of security. I was beating guys based off of sheer hunger and passion. So just in the last fight, I wanted to compete and improve myself as a boxer. And it wasn't good enough. Tonight wasn't good enough, but you could see I adapted, I made the changes needed to give him a more competitive fight. It wasn't enough, but I left everything in the gym. If I would have left everything in the ring, I would have won. But I definitely pushed myself in training camp to make sure the fight was more competitive tonight.
AJ, Antoine, ITV News. When we spoke, you said you wanted to put on a heroic performance, and in round 9, I think everybody in this room will agree that you did. Would you say you're proud of yourself this time around, and you feel like you give your all and you left it all in the ring?
Am I proud of myself? It's really, really hard for me to say I'm proud of myself. I don't feel anything. I'm upset, really, like deep down in my heart. Like, oh, man. Oh. Like, trust me, fucking hell, man.
All right. It's all good. Who's got a question for me while we're waiting?
Radio Raheem. Eddie, this is a journey that you've been on as well, the whole way. Obviously 2 losses in a row, your flagship fighter. What is next for you in your mind as a promoter, and what do you say to Anthony Joshua immediately after the fight?
Well, as I said in the ring after, the key to life is happiness, you know? And at the end of the day, I just want him to be happy. He's given his whole life since he started to the sport of boxing, and people don't realise that what a bubble it is in the life and world of Anthony Joshua. You know, when everybody in the country knows who he is, everybody's got an opinion of who he is. He's in the gym all the time with his team. He's living up in Loughborough. He's away from home. You know, there isn't anyone I know that's more dedicated to the sport than him. And sometimes people don't understand the pressures that are on people's shoulders. But he's never ducked a challenge. He's never shirked the pressure. He's always tried to give his time for people, and he's always tried to inspire the next generation. He's been an amazing ambassador. For the first time in boxing, you see all these complete dickheads, many of them tonight on social media, that have got too much to say for themselves, that want to pretend they're good people, that actually aren't role models, that aren't ambassadors, that aren't people that I would want my kids to look up to. This is someone that I want my kids to look up to. For the first time, and that responsibility is a huge burden. And he's always felt that responsibility. If he's out in public, he gives everybody his time, right? He's one of the nicest guys you can ever meet. And he's a competitor. He's a winner. And when you don't win, and you see what you saw tonight was a raw emotion, a real person that was feeling the pressure, that wanted to win so badly. And people need to realise that you live in an online world where it's just opinions, stick, abuse. And he'll never tell you that the pressure, he sees that or he feels it. But it's impossible not to. So what I want to see is I want to see him happy. And I think what we want to see is we want to see him be active. Too many gaps between fights, too many stadium fights. You know, from the Dillian White fight at the O2 to Charles Martin at the O2 to Dominic Brazil at the O2, to Eric Molina at Manchester Arena, to Vladimir Klitschko at Wembley Stadium, to Carlos Takam at the Millennium Stadium, to Joseph Parker at the Millennium Stadium, to Alexander Povetkin at Wembley Stadium, for Andy Ruiz at Madison Square Garden, to Andy Ruiz in Riyadh, to Kubrat Pulev at the O2, to Oleksandr Usyk at Tottenham Hotspur, to Oleksandr Usyk. That is the run that Anthony Joshua has been on. No Tom Schwartz, no Sefa Seferi. No, I do. No, but I do, because you don't get the credit. No, but I'm going to give you the credit, because at the end of the day, you've had to step up to carry the sport in our country. It's true. You know, we've joked before. You said, "God, I have to have all these tough fights." You saw people have these easy fights. You never had them. You never wanted them, because you want to create a resume. Yeah, but because you're a fighter, you're a winner. You wanted to fight the elite. You fought the pound for pound, back to back, right? At Tottenham, you lost. Tonight, you lost a split decision to the best fighter in the sport. Everybody else would have vacated the WBO belt before the Tottenham fight. So I will say, because people take easy touches, fans moan about fighters ducking fights, taking easy touches. He's never taken an easy touch, and we should be very, very proud of him.
And Joshua, after the fight, it looked like you were leaving the ring. Like maybe you weren't going to do the interview, and then you turned around and came back in the ring and were a sportsman and gave a tremendous ambassador-esque speech. Can you talk to me about what happened in your mind that made you turn around and come back in the ring, and what you were trying to say post-fight in that speech?
I just feel like when you try and do things from your heart, not everyone's always going to understand. And it was just from the heart, right? I knew I was mad, like at myself, not at anyone, just at myself. So I thought, I've got to get out of here because I'm mad. Like, and like anyone, when you're angry, you might do stupid things. So I was mad. But then I realized, oh shit, this is sport. Let me do the right thing and come back. And then I just spoke from my heart. Like, it's been so tough. Like, you see AJ holding it together, yeah? And I'm a hustler, so I try and put things together. Like, I try to work hard, put things together, make sure my team's good. But it comes at a cost, like a big cost. And like sometimes it'll never break me, but it takes real strength for it not to break you. And tonight, like, there's a little crack in the armor because I took a loss. And I think you just saw me just upset. And with the speech, I was just speaking about where I'd come from. Like I was on the roads, like, really. And I made a transition in boxing, and it really helped me change my life, you know, bring me closer to God, bring me closer to meeting so many amazing people. And I just kind of laid it all on the line with my speech. But listen, let's not forget about the champ Oleksandr Usyk, who put on a phenomenal performance as well. So credit to him. I can't remember what I said in the ring because it was just so passionate, but I just want to say thank you to him for taking part in a great historical fight as well. It takes two to tango, and I was just so upset.
Anthony, you said to over here.
Yo.
It's been a long journey with you, and it's been an amazing journey. I'm over here, Anthony. You said to Antoine at the press conference on Wednesday that the performance was as important to you in a way as the outcome. Two things. Are you happy with the performance? And do you, not necessarily the outcome, but are you happy with your performance this time? And do you not realise that at home, and this is all of us that have had messages from people at home, people were off their seats with respect, screaming you on to knock Oleksandr Usyk out from the 8th round onwards?
Yeah, I'm not, look, when you lose, you're not ultimately happy. It's just upsetting. I really wanted to win, and I wanted to win for Great Britain because I know how much they wanted me to fight Tyson Fury. So I wasn't just fighting for myself, I was fighting for like the whole nation. So I was just so upset. So I'm not so happy with the performance because I didn't win. And I appreciate everyone who was watching at home. You know, fighting, yeah, like, I'm a fighter, I'm not a normal person. Like, even though I try and, as you said, hold it together, to be a fighter is like, a real different mindset and lifestyle that you have to embody, especially to try and be a good fighter. So I just in war mode. But I appreciate everyone that support and watched at home, and I really wanted to do it for them because I wanted to bring the belts back home, and I really wanted to, challenge for the undisputed two of Britain's best. But we move on to the next.
You've now spent 24 rounds with Oleksandrem Usykiem. Can you evaluate what's that like, and do you feel elevated by that experience?
Well, great champion. He done well on the night. Both nights we met in the ring, and I'm happy. As a competitor, I'm upset, very, very, very upset. But I gotta give the man his credit because he's done well. It takes a lot to come up in weight, challenge, win the belt, defend the belt. He's good. He's really, really good. He's been doing it since a young age, had hundreds of amateur fights. He's a real deal. So well done to him. I'm happy for him.
AJ, you should be proud
Hello.
of yourself. You should be proud of yourself tonight. It was fantastic. Do you intend to go through it all again? Are you going to carry on fighting? If so, who would you like to fight next?
So I spoke to Eddie and I asked him if it's possible to get out in November, because I think momentum is important in boxing. Remember, I haven't had that feeling of going the rounds for how many months?
I did say December.
Yeah, he said December. So the coach has given me 2 weeks off. But how long have I been out the ring now?
It's the inactivity, before this fight, it was 11 months against
11
Oleksandr
months,
Usyk. Before that, it was 10 months to Pulev. And before that, it was a year to Andy Ruiz. Obviously, the pandemic was, but when you're having these massive fights to a year, it's just, I don't think it's enough. It's not enough for AJ to be active. I would like to see him get out in December. And I would like to see him have 3 to 4 fights next year. Get back to enjoying himself. Get back to the pressures of working his way back up to the championship belt. Because for him, it's the enjoyment of fighting. It's the enjoyment of working with his team. And now I think he's going to actually really start to enjoy himself.
And if it's about who I fight, come one, come all. Whoever wants it can get it. I don't mind.
Right, any more questions?
Right, guys, I just want to take this opportunity once again to thank this man to my left. Incredible performance, a great man. Anthony, well done, mate.
Respect to you, my brother.